Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Success Vitamin Talk with me, Pritha Dubey. I am a sales professional turned a sales coach, and today in this episode, I have a very special guest. He's been a friend, and we did our executive coaching under Marshall Goldsmith together. And since then, I have been knowing him. He has had a wonderful and a pretty exciting career. The fact that we have him today, okay, let me introduce first his name to you. He is Abhinav Goyal. The reason I have got him today here is that he is now a career coach and a leadership coach. And in the current time, when we are in the situation where we have a lot of uncertainty regarding our career, and we are not so sure about in which direction we need to move. And also with these unfortunate events of layoffs happening or salary cuts happening, many of us are currently uh, a little confused. If I have to put it in a very simple way, we are a little confused. And Abhinav has been mentoring a lot of such young professionals and experienced professionals in shaping their career, in how to move forward and how to look forward and make yourself not only employable. In fact, there have been a lot of testimonials that I keep seeing on Abhinav's wall, where his mentees come and say that how they are rejecting offers. Yes. So if you also would like to get into an option where there are so many offers available in front of you, that you also have this option of rejecting offers, how cool that would be, isn't it? So Abhinav, thank you so much for joining our Success Vitamin Talk.
Rita, thank you so much. So glad to be here. Like you said, we've known each other for a while now. I think it's been 4 or 5 years since we met in Mumbai for our Marshall Goldsmith certification.
Yes.
And like you've been following my journey, I've been following your journey with a lot of interest. And I love watching your videos on sales tips, given that I'm a accountant by profession. Sales doesn't come easy for us. So I've been learning a lot watching you and hearing you. So pleasure being here. I mean, it's a difficult time, but it's also a great time for us to be talking about this topic that you picked up. It's obviously close to my heart. It's right up my alley. So yeah, I mean, all looking forward to it.
Thank you so much, Abhinav, for sparing and sparing your time in this evening. Now, first and foremost, I would like to understand from you that what is keeping you busy nowadays, apart from the mentoring that you are doing, and I will get into that and understand a lot more from how you are helping people reject job offers. So, apart from that, what is keeping you busy?
Well, it's the thing with me is that when I take up a mentoring assignment, whether it's a group assignment or a one-on-one assignment, I really invest myself into it. So what keeps me busy is my students, really. I'd probably blame myself for it, because I keep telling them that, call me, tell me what's happening. Don't take big decisions without speaking with me. So, that's what keeps me busy a lot. So that takes up a lot of time, just coming up with new kind of products and new services that I can offer to young professionals, even to students. I love working with students in the schools as well. So, just creating those new products and services right now is keeping me very busy. And like I said, it's exciting. It's an exciting time for me.
Excellent. It's good to hear during this time, around this time, especially if somebody says exciting time, it gives so much of positivity, and it brings so much of hope, and we want to look forward to that exciting time. So let us now understand that how the job seekers can start calling this time an exciting time. How do you see the current market, on the career front? How do you see it? Because the news that we keep hearing is pretty grim. Many people are there are a lot of layoffs that are happening, and salary cuts are also happening. Around the same time, I also hear these reports from the placement consultancies, where they're talking about a lot of industries where the hiring has picked up. So what is your, how do you see the market?
Yeah, I wish we had more transparency into the numbers, Pritha. Just like you, I've been hearing a lot of good news and a lot of bad news. So for me to be, to be uh, to be sure about which way the wind is blowing, it's hard to say. Having said that, my personal belief is that the times are grim. These are not easy times, and they'll not get any easier in the next several months, maybe even a year or slightly more. See, recession is a very cyclical thing. Being a finance professional, I've been reading about it for many, many years now. And my personal sense is that it's going to last much longer than most people expect it to last.
Okay.
Having said that, there are industries and there are functions where hiring is beginning to look up. But at the same time, there are a lot of people losing jobs as well within the same industries. So why is that happening? I think that's what we need to analyze. I mean, the same organizations or the same industries hiring as well as firing at the same time. I think what's happening really is that people are realizing that this is a market where they can pick up the best talent. The best quality talent is making itself available at a fairly good price point now. And so it becomes a buyer's market. So the organizations realize that this is a great time for them to refresh their talent pipelines and get best people in. Now, what do individuals do in this kind of scenario? What I have been teaching, and the methodology that I have is based on, at least when it comes to the job market, is based on three specific aspects that I like people to cover. One is, first, be very, very clear about who do you want to be, what do you want to become.
Okay.
The mistake that a lot of young professionals in their early careers make is that they want to try out everything, or they think they can do everything. Whereas the world that we're living in, especially from a career standpoint, it's now very clearly, becoming obvious to us that either the super specialists or the super leaders will survive and grow. If you are anywhere in between, neither are you a super specialist nor are you a super leader, then you are in trouble. So the first thing, you need to understand, who do I want to become? Which function, which profile, which industry do I want to build my career in? Be very, very clear about it and be very focused about it. Because only when you're very focused about it will you be able to develop the kind of skill set that you need for that industry or that function. See, you got to be competing against some really high quality talent right now. And if you don't have a very high level of skill set, technically, functionally, then you will not be able to land interview calls, forget about jobs. So that's the first thing. Be very clear about who do you want to become, and then reskill, upskill yourself so that you start to build a competitive edge in the marketplace. And then, we get to, things like resume, for example. How are you building your resume? Is your resume a generalist resume or is it a specialist resume? In my belief right now, in this scenario, we need to have a very, very clear focus, and we need to have a specialist resume. That will only happen if you've acquired the right kind of skills after, becoming clear about what you want to become. And then, focus on networks, focus on relationships and networks. It is a fact that most people don't know that 60% of the opportunities today are never even advertised. They're not posted on public forums. They're not out there on Naukri.com or IIM or TimesJob or any of those portals. So if those jobs are not getting posted, those jobs are effectively going out through referrals and networks. And if you don't have it in you to build a referral network for yourself, then you're losing out. So for me, it's a three-step game. First, be very, very clear about who do you want to become, and then acquire the right skills so that you become a super specialist. Then build a resume of a super specialist, and then use your networks to get the opportunity.
When we are talking about, say, certain skills and competencies, do you see that in the current time, there are certain skills and competencies, which is like whether you are a specialist or you are a generalist, but in order to impress a corporate, or a corporate is particularly looking at probably a few of these skills and competencies that you must have in the current time, or even post that, because we still do not know, like you said, this is here for some more time, so are there certain skills and competencies that you foresee?
Sure. See, I'm actually a big fan of this whole three-step thing. So again, I'll talk about the three-step process that I personally recommend and I follow in my own career. What I suggest to young professionals is try to build a three-tier skill framework for yourself. Now, what are the three tiers of this skill framework? Let me very briefly try to help you understand.
Mm.
At the base of everything is your technical skill.
Okay.
How are you making yourself superior in comparison to anybody else? So, for example, uh, if you have a broken bone in your arm, you will not go to a general physician. You'll go to an orthopedic surgeon, and you'll try to find the orthopedic surgeon who has the maximum qualifications, who seems
Sure.
to be the most technically skilled. So
Sure.
depending on who you are, whether you are a mechanical engineer or you're a chartered accountant who's doing investment banking, or you are a sales professional, whatever you are, how do you technically skill yourself to a point where competition is left far behind? So that's a first tier of skill in my mind. You have to, and to acquire this skill, you have to think about what are those really serious courses or certifications that I can pursue. A lot of times youngsters come to me and say, can I do this 4-hour long course on Udemy or Coursera? And my suggestion to them is, yeah, sure, you can. I mean, there is nothing wrong in acquiring a new knowledge, new set of knowledge.
Okay.
But this knowledge will not really help you in the long run in your career. Because if you just know about a technical topic on the surface level, you really will not be able to implement it. So when you
Okay.
talk about technical skills, think about how can I really go deep and acquire a really significant, serious qualification for myself. So for
Okay.
example, to chartered accountants, I suggest, think about doing a CPA, a CFA, a MBA from a good school,
All right.
something which is serious, which will really help you in the long run rather than those 6-hour, 8-hour kind of modules. Yeah. So the second tier that I talk about is the future skills. Uh, what happens every time there is a recession, Pritha, is uh, there is a dramatic transformational shift in the way things happen, or things are getting done, or things get done.
Mm.
We're noticing it right now. For you and I as a trainer and as a coach, the whole paradigm has changed. 6 months ago, had somebody told me that you should be running your business online, mentoring online, coaching online, trainings online, I would have laughed at it. But now I think this is the way to go. Things are moving in that direction. So technology and trends change really, really fast in a recession.
So true.
How aware are you of what the future will require? And
Mm.
there is a lot of free content out there. You don't really have to pay for acquiring this knowledge. Just become more aware, understand what are the future skills which will be required in the industry or the function that you are operating in. It could be around data analytics, it could be about customer information, it could be around automation, uh, you know all of these things, or just the business trends. If you're a marketing or a sales professional, what are the new trends which are already becoming or showing green shoots in different geographies of the world,
So
which will
true.
eventually come to our geography as well. So become more aware
Very
of the future trends
true.
and the future skills. I
Mm.
strongly suggest, for example, folks in the finance industry to start reading about things like blockchain, robotics, artificial intelligence, big
Mm.
data.
Mm.
Now, these were things
Mm.
that we accountants never had to worry about earlier. But in the future, if you are a plain Jane accountant, it won't work for you. You will have to have something additional, a future skill. So
True.
that's the second
True.
tier for me. The third one that I was talking about is the leadership skills, Prita,
Mm.
which always have been important. But I think in recession, they become all the more important. They become, some of these skills become non-negotiable because given that there is no shortage of great talent in the marketplace,
Right.
organizations really
Right.
are looking to hire people right now who can spearhead change, who can drive a culture of change and transformation, and that
True.
requires leadership. You don't just
True.
need doers. You also need people who can think and who can strategize and come up with fresh ideas. So skills like
True.
storytelling, for example, is becoming such a critical aspect right now. And I spend a lot of time with
True.
my students helping them understand how to tell, how to kind of come up with stories, articulate stories, and use them in their day-to-day careers, jobs. Strategic thinking is very, very important. How do you develop the ability to connect the dots across the organization? So having the ability to connect the dots and solve problems for not just
True.
yourself or your specific business unit, but for everybody else.
True.
And the third
True.
skill,
True.
which is
True.
very, very important in my mind from a leadership standpoint, is your attitude towards change. Uh, if you are the kind of, see, this is a stressful time. People around us are losing jobs, and it's very easy to get sucked into this whole negativity right now. But there are going to be people, and there are people in every organization who will look at this change and this very almost tragic situation as an opportunity to help the management, the leaders, drive this change across the organization, drive the message across the organization, rally people with them, and really embrace change, and talk about the positive aspects of change. For example, when I was working with Amex in my previous job, and we were going through a particularly difficult time at that point in time, I remember what we did with our with our employee base was we started involving them in change, and we started asking them for ideas of transformation, of automation, and started involving them, started training them, and the results were tremendous. So people who are able to embrace this change, and are really able to bring others together and drive the message across are valuable.
Right.
So for me, the 3 leadership skills which really stand out right now are ability to to articulate the right stories, ability to think strategically and connect the dots, and then the ability to drive, embrace and drive change.
And so my last question to you, Abhinav, is that right now during this time, for people who are who have been laid off, or people who are very actively searching for a job, let me put it this way, people who are very actively searching for a job, whether early professionals or mid-level professionals, how can they best use LinkedIn or social media?
Sure.
What is it that they should do currently? Because there are of course a lot of people who are open to work. The LinkedIn has given that open to work thing now, so they are putting up that frame, I'm open to work, and many are showing that courage, and they trust LinkedIn, that if I put it up on LinkedIn that I have lost my job and I'm looking for a job, and LinkedIn as a family, LinkedIn as a community also is showing their human side of helping each other. Everybody is liking and commenting so that that person's profile can go. Now, apart from that, which actively many people are doing, many people are shy, they are not doing. So what I would like from you to understand is that what is it that they should do currently on a social media?
Yeah. See, I'm a big fan of LinkedIn. I've been around a while, and I spend a lot of time every day on LinkedIn. I think this platform is magnificent. It's just the best social media platform out there. There's nothing which comes even close to it. So for professionals, if you're not on LinkedIn, you really
let's talk about LinkedIn first. Let us first talk about LinkedIn. Then what is it for people? Most of them are on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So if they are on LinkedIn, how they can use LinkedIn? What is it that they should do currently?
Absolutely. You see, the point is that just being on LinkedIn is not good enough. Being on LinkedIn or not doing about anything with LinkedIn, in my book, it means you're not even on LinkedIn. Forget about it. There's millions of people out there on LinkedIn, but 90% of them are not doing anything about it. So frankly, for all practical purposes, they are dormant. If you are on LinkedIn, you better start to understand the power of this network. And the 60% opportunities, which I said never get advertised, a large bulk of them get closed through LinkedIn right now. So if you don't understand the importance of LinkedIn, you need to very quickly upgrade yourself skill-wise. Secondly, how do you use LinkedIn? The method that I suggest to people is this. One, you need to clearly define what your brand should be. What do you want people to think about or say about you when they're talking about you, when they come across you? For example, if you go to my LinkedIn profile, it'll take you about 10 seconds to come up with what my brand is, because I very consciously designed that brand, and so have you, and many other people. So your things like even your banner, your headline statement, your profile, everything should be talking about your brand singularly, so that every time somebody comes onto your profile, they know exactly who they are looking at. Then secondly, what do you do once you've thought about this is your brand? You start working on content. You have to get out of your shell, develop some courage, and write content. Because it's such a democratic algorithm that LinkedIn has, Anybody who is consistent with content will get traction. And it really is magical. You know, when I've had so many of my students who had never used LinkedIn, and then I almost like forced them into LinkedIn, and within a month they started creating magic on LinkedIn. I've had people who landed jobs from LinkedIn without even asking for jobs. So, you know, you decide what your brand is, build your profile accordingly, start creating your content, and then start networking with the right kind of people. You
Agree.
know, something
Agree.
as simple as the LinkedIn search box is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
You'll find very relevant people, you know, the kind of people that you should be, you know, speaking to, or you should be communicating messages with. And you can do it if you are a serious user of LinkedIn. If you're a content creator on LinkedIn, people will respond to you. People will respect you. If all you're doing on LinkedIn is just writing messages to people, can you help me find a job? I'm sorry, it won't happen.
That's not.
It just won't happen. You have to use it in a better way. Define your brand, uh, make it come alive on your profile, and start creating your content, and then start reaching out to people regularly, start building conversations. I always tell people, LinkedIn is not about how many connections you have. LinkedIn is about how many connections you have in your inbox. You got to get them into your inbox. It's not taking action is not a choice. You got to act.
True, and it's a very very strong thing that Abhinav just said, that not taking action is not a choice, and not at all a choice. And I'm sure that all of us are realizing right now during this time, during this COVID, the reason that many of us are searching for a job currently is probably because there were few actions that we should have taken. Maybe last year, maybe a few years back, or maybe a few months back, there were a few actions that we should have taken. We did not take it. So let us not take our time for granted. Let us not take our future for granted. We need to shape it. We need to plan it. And like in every planning, like when we plan everything, there is always a portion or a planning also done for contingency. This was the contingency that we should have planned yesterday. So therefore, like Abhinav suggested, so many beautiful suggestions and advices that Abhinav gave to all of us while we are searching for a career. If we want the job to kind of fall on our lap and find us, then there are a few things that we have to do. We have to understand the gaps that we have. Let us not be so complacent that, oh, I know everything, or I have all the skills that are required. We do not know that. None of us know that if we have all the skills required. So first and foremost, identify your gap, reskill yourself, build yourself as a specialist, present yourself as a specialist on your CV, on every talk that you are having, on your all your social media posts, come across as a specialist. Use the network. Be active on LinkedIn, like Abhinav mentioned. Please use LinkedIn. It's a professional network. It is a very, very helpful network. It really gets people a lot of business. So please use LinkedIn not only to post that I'm looking for a job, but also to add value and present your brand and to build your brand. All right. And be very, very mindful. This situation is here to stay for some more time. We are all being very hopeful. We are all praying that, you know, we cross this as soon as possible and we go back to being how it was. Even if we go back to a place where we don't have to wear a mask anymore, and where we would be, you know, freely roaming around, even if we go back to the situation, understand the mindset has changed. The organization's mindset has changed. The way they are now looking at an employee and what they are expecting now from their employees, that has changed. So prepare yourself for that new normal. Thank you so much, Abhinav, for your suggestions and advice. And I am sure that this would, all those who are hearing this and all those who've heard you right now would be immensely benefited from all the advices and suggestions that you have given. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prita. It was lovely. Lovely as always talking to you.